some people, it's just like they love the mornings and they wake up right when the alarm goes off. For me, no, it is hard to get up because I'm not naturally a morning person. But once I do get up, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. So Father, I just thank you so much for this day. I thank you for the blessing of this day. Father, help us to live and walk in the blessing of this day. Help us to remember that the joy of the Lord is our strength. And in you is how we get through difficult times and moments with joy. Thank you so much for your creation. Thank you for the beauty of your hand and the things that you've created to let us know how beautiful you truly are. When I look around and see God's creation, it's like I just see him. I see him everywhere. That's the thing about walking with God. It's like, you know, I grew up in the church. And I'm so thankful for that. Like, I was always at church. Like, I don't really remember being there with my parents, but I remember always being at church. Like, my mom would put me around people, and my dad would put us around people that, like, they went to church. So it was like I grew up in the church. So I've always had a sensitive heart towards God. I never really acted on it until my life fell apart, you know, which it shouldn't be that way, but it is that way. And for me anyway. So I was a prodigal child who left God and then came back when I got myself into a mess and only God could fix it. But that is the thing, like, it's like I've always had a heart for God, and I can look back on my life and see his hand and see how he's protected me and see how he was always there even when I wasn't checking for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't living for him, I wasn't checking for him, I was living my life for myself. I wasn't acknowledging God and really anything. And there were a lot of times that I would be like, it was like, but he was always in the back of my heart. Because it was like I would talk about him sporadically, but I wasn't living for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would bring him up and be like, well, this is about God. Like, what is God say? Or I remember I made a song about him. I made a song when I was a teenager called When I Would Be Riding Around in My Car and Nobody Else Was There. I was a teenager. And it goes, thank you for blessing me. Lord, 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 thank you for blessing me. I could not walk without you, Lord. I could not talk without you, Lord. I could not see without you, Lord. And I wouldn't be me without you, Lord. Thank you for blessing me, my Lord, for blessing me. Thank you for blessing me. And it just keeps going. But I made that when I was a teenager. So it's like I can see his hand in my life, but I was not surrendered. Like, I was not living for him. At the end of the day, I was going out and doing what I wanted to do. But when I surrendered my life to Christ 10 years ago, because I got myself into such a mess and I was so broken that no one could help me, my eyes were open. My eyes were open. I remember being at church and singing Amazing Grace, and it's, you know, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was blind, but now I see. I was like, oh my gosh, like, after being after giving my heart to Christ and accepting him and just experiencing God, it was like I literally once was blind. Like I was literally blind, and now I see. It's like God gives you a new pair of glasses. Like you see the world completely different. You see everything completely different. And a person who has truly surrendered to Christ understands exactly what I'm talking about. They understand exactly what I'm talking about. And it's beautiful. So going back to his creation, like I see him in everything. Like I see him in everything. And yes, he's not physically right here in front of me, but it's even that much more powerful. Like I remember Jesus saying to Thomas, who doubted when he rose again from the dead, and Thomas was like, I'm not gonna believe that he is risen until I see him, until I can actually put my finger in the holes where the nails were, like, and put my hand in his side where they pierced him. Like that's when I'll believe. And Jesus came and allowed him to do that. He asked Thomas, why are you doubting? And then he allowed him to put his hand in the hole and in the holes and put his hand in the side. And Jesus said, see, you believe because you've seen. Blessed are those who believe without seeing. And that's the essence of faith. So it's even that much more powerful, because though he's not physically right in front of me and I can't touch him, I see him in everything. I feel his spirit. I hear his spirit when he speaks. I see him answer prayers. Like when, you know what I'm saying? Like he's here. He doesn't have to physically be right here in front of me for me to reach out and touch him. You know what I'm saying? Which I believe, you know, one day will be when I'm in heaven. But it doesn't change. Just because I can't physically see him doesn't mean that I'm not experiencing him. He's all around. And you can just look at creation and see it. You can look at creation, like the fact that these trees and animals and even us as humans, like I think that we disregard us as humans because we see each other every day and we see ourselves every day, but we are a masterpiece. Like the fact that we are a body that lives and breathes and wakes up and functions, and we have hearts and we have a mind, and we didn't create ourselves. Like that is crazy. Like it's beautiful. It's powerful. You have trees that have been here for thousands upon thousands of years. Like creation has been, the sun has been rising and setting since God placed it, since God put it in motion and put it in place, since God spoke it into existence. Like when I came to know Christ, my eyes were open. I'm thankful. I'm thankful that God has opened my eyes, taken the blinders off so that I can truly see him, see the working of his hand. I see him in everything. I see him in everything. Like he's all around. Like he never stops working. He's always moving. And again, that's another benefit of walking with God through the acceptance of Jesus Christ in your heart. That's another benefit of walking with God, is that you know that he's all around. Even when there's times where you feel like you're alone. You know, that, you know, just because you give your heart to Christ doesn't mean that all of your trials and difficulties and everything that you experience and everything that you may be going through immediately goes away. You know, there's seasons to everything. So there's going to be times to where you feel like you're alone and you feel like no one understands. And through the spending of time with God, he definitely comforts you. But even when you feel like you can't hear him, or you feel like that you're alone and he's not listening or he's not answering prayer, like go on a walk and see his creation. Like he's here. He's here. You know what I'm saying? He's here. He's all around. He's all around. This is my backyard. He's all around. He's all around. He's beautiful. He's here. When I go on a walk and I just see the things that he's made and created that human hands don't even have the capability of even really knowing how to even create the things that he's created. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the mystery of his creation. And it just brings me peace. And knowing that even though I may feel alone sometimes, like, he's here. He's here, you know? And I can look around and see that. I can look around and see that. I can see him. You know what I'm saying? And if he has made, and I can look around and see that, you know, if he has made everything, if I look at his creation and see that he's made everything so beautiful, then surely, his word even says that surely he will do much more for me. You know what I'm saying? His word tells us that. I think, I want to say it's in Matthew 6. I know Matthew 6:33 says, seek first the kingdom of God and all these things will be added unto you. But verses before that talk about him clothing the earth like with the lilies of the field, and like how birds eat, how he feeds the birds. Like, will he not do much more for you? Like, he's beautiful, you know? So I encourage you to rest in that beauty. To rest in the beauty of who God is. Blessings to you and yours. We got Thanksgiving coming up. Every day should be Thanksgiving, because we should be thankful every day for the things that God has done, is doing, and will do. And I just pray that y'all have a beautiful holiday. And if you can't be with your family, it can still be beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like, God is here. Be content in what you do have, and don't be miserable in what you don't have. Be content and joyful in what you do have, and be thankful for what you do have. And I just pray that you press into God more and more every day through the blood of Jesus Christ. Oh, what Jesus did. So y'all have a beautiful week. It's Monday, so I pray that you have a blessed week, and go on a walk and experience the presence of God, because he's all around. And if he can make his creation so beautiful, how much more will he do for you, for those who seek him and call on his name? Have a good one.